For many restaurant owners out there, the kitchen often feels, well, a little bit foreign. Sure, you know what you want your kitchen to create for your guests. You know how fast you like tickets to come out. Have a pretty good idea of where you want your food and labor costs to be. But unless you have a strong culinary background, you might be mistakenly betting on one person to handle all of that for you, and that could spell trouble because why? You feel uncomfortable. Hey there, Restaurant Pro. This is Dave Scott Peters, restaurant expert, coach, and creator of the Restaurant Prosperity Formula. And today I'm going to talk about unlocking kitchen success, mastering restaurant systems for seamless operations. Let me start off with sharing with you why I can relate to this so much. I was the person I just talked about being fearful when I was a manager. I didn't have a strong culinary background. Sure, I grew up my family's restaurant and catering business back in Linwood, New Jersey, where I worked for the toughest manager I know, my mother. If you ever worked for your mom, you know what I'm talking about. But the closest thing I got to becoming a kitchen pro, if you will, was being a dishwasher and a prep cook when I was 13 to 16 years old. So I've never really worked the line, not as a full-time job. I really didn't order, not as a full-time job. I didn't have knife skills. I didn't have all the things that an experience I need to have culinary knowledge to understand the workings of selling tickets on a day-to-day basis and prepping food and so on. Yeah, I grew up in the business, but that wasn't my strength. I was front of house, right? That was my primary busser, server, bartender, manager as my career went on. I never spent a lot of time in that kitchen. So when I was a restaurant manager, the kitchen felt foreign to me. So what did that mean? It meant I would rely on the kitchen manager or chef way too much. It meant we as a restaurant from time to time felt we had to keep this kitchen pro on, even if they weren't a culture fit for us anymore. Maybe they weren't even hitting their numbers, but we had to keep them on. Why? Because if we fired them, nobody knew how to order. Nobody knew the recipes, the prep systems, and more. As a restaurant coach, I see this play itself out over and over and over again because I talk to restaurant owners on a daily basis, many of them who do not have culinary backgrounds, at least strong ones. Now, let me be clear. By implementing systems in your kitchen, it doesn't matter that you don't have a well-rounded culinary background. Heck, you could have no culinary background. With the right systems in place, none. Why? Because with these systems in place, you'll always be in a position that your kitchen isn't dependent on a single person, but rather of a group of systems, thereby putting you in a position to not worry about if and when your kitchen leader moves on for good or bad reasons. Let's take a look at what I mean and start with labor. Well, when your restaurant has job descriptions, a training program, and that's for each and every position, evaluations, performance reviews, even your front of house managers, well, they're going to be trained in each one of those positions and they could do those jobs. Maybe not as well as the trained pros, the real kitchen guys, but the truth of the matter is they could do it. I could do it. When using scheduling software such as maybe 7Shifts, which most of my members use, you'll know basically all your kitchen people, what their availability is, how many shifts they wish to work, when they can and cannot work. You'll have the ability to build, well, scheduling templates so that any point in time you want to say, hey, it's a $30,000 a week, a $50,000 a week, a $100,000 a week. You know the perfect schedule and you can just drag and drop people into those slots. You'll be able to track and control your labor costs and stay within budget. And add to that, a labor budgeting system that I teach my members called the Restaurant Payroll Guardian. You'll be able to basically control your labor costs because you're scheduling not only for dollars, but hours, giving your management team the ability to know exactly what people should be working. How about food? When you use food and beverage management software such as Margin Edge, again, another piece of software that I highly recommend that my members use, you'll be able to take inventory for ordering and calculating food costs. You'll be able to maintain recipe cost cards with ease by simply taking pictures of invoice, sending up to the magic cloud, and boom, your next order's up to date, your next inventory's up to date, your recipe costing cards are up to date, like magic. You'll be able to assign prep. You'll be able to find out where you're bleeding money and ultimately control your kitchen. Add to that a budgeting system that I teach my members called the Restaurant Checkbook Guardian. You'll be able to give up ordering without giving up your checkbook. What about cleanliness and sanitation standards? With two software modules from a company called Jolt, Jolt, which I actually purchase the checklist system for my members when they start with me, you'll be able to ensure that everything is up to your standards, from opening, closing side work checklists. And they've got other modules, things like food safety, having a label printer to make sure that you know when you prepped it, when it's going to expire, to temperature monitoring, that you don't have to do a damn thing and you're going to know that that cooler's on its way out. Worried about knowing how many people to bring in and how much food to order or prep because you're not sure what your sales trends are? Well, I'll tell you, you might want to look into another software program called 5out.io, the number 5out.io. This was brought to me by one of my members, and like magic, it ties to your POS data. And with a little bit of AI, we all know the power of AI now, it predicts your sales within just a small margin of error, which will not only tell you what you need to staff to stay within your budget, how much money you can spend, if you will, when we talk about the Restaurant Checkbook Guardian, because you know what your sales are going to be and what you need to spend. But it also ties in, and because it sees your item by item sales mix, it can tell you what you need to prep to be able to handle those sales. It's amazing. You see, with these systems in place, you're in control of your restaurant. If someone leaves for good or even bad reasons, your systems are in place. Multiple people in management and line employees know how to use those systems. Your restaurant will continue to operate your way no matter who's running the kitchen, no matter what kind of culinary skill you possess, because it's your system, your process, your way, and it's always there. The next trained replacement is trained on it. With the right systems in place, even I could run your kitchen because I would have training. Opening, closing side work checklists. I'd be able to schedule on budget, ensure that, well, we have the right people and the right number of people working each shift. And I'd be able to order, set up prep, take inventory, know the recipes, and hit my food and beverage and labor costs with ease. Take control of your restaurant. Ensure you're running on systems versus one person's knowledge. And your kitchen will be easy to run, even if you don't have a strong culinary background. And just to be clear, if you have a strong kitchen manager or chef who uses your systems, now your kitchen is rocking and rolling. Be sure to join me live every Friday at 8 a.m. Pacific time on YouTube, travel schedule permitting, where I'll get you pumped about the upcoming weekend, get you excited about crushing your goals and finding the motivation to be best you possible. Plus, I'll answer your burning questions live.